Welcome to the Morale Booster Network, a platform for entrepreneurs, career professionals, leaders, and the general public to give back to the society through coaching and mentoring. I remain your host, Dr. John Ugulu. I am an author, speaker, and strategist. I always say experience is the best teacher. You can stream or download this podcast from YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Google Podcast, Player FM, and Pandora. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Morale Booster Podcast. I am Dr. John Ugulu, your host. And in this season, from idea to impact, we will be navigating the journey of an author. We will dive deep into the creative process, the challenges, and the triumphs that come with bringing a book to life. And in this episode, we are thrilled to welcome our guest author, Teri Thompson. She is the author of Kinky Curly Mind. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's embark on this inspiring journey together. If you are just joining us for the very first time, please like and share this broadcast. And here's the reason why. You might just be saving the life. Yes, you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear the message that we will be sharing today. So make this your charitable work for today. It is free for you to share this broadcast, share and inspire somebody today. Thank you. So today we have Teri Thompson. Now, who is Teri? Now, in the realms of law and literature, few have managed to carve such an impactful career as Judge Teri Thompson. Now, with a legal career that spans over 3 decades, Teri has advocated for both children and adults in juvenile and federal courts. She has been at the forefront of some of the most high-stakes legal battles in the federal courts across the United States, including the Virgin Islands. And prior to being appointed as an associate judge in 2022, she became the founder and owner of her own law firm, Teri Thompson LLC, where she is dedicated to representing those facing the death penalty around the country. What a massive calling that is. Beyond the courtroom, Teri is an adjunct professor in criminal law, and she instructs attorneys on being trial attorneys. In the year 2023, she founded ZELLA Publishing LLC, where she amplifies and empowers Black children to embrace and celebrate their identities. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me as I welcome no other person but Judge Teri Lee Thompson to the Morale Booster. So welcome to the platform, Teri.
Well, thank you. It's such an honor to meet you and to be here and to speak to your audience. I love it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Like, we thank you. We appreciate you for taking time out of your very busy schedule, coming on this platform to share your words of wisdom and encouragement to people you don't even know. It speaks volume of you. So keep doing what you do, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us.
The honor is mine. I'm excited.
Yes. Great. You're doing great things, amazing things. And right now you're out of state for a conference, and you still took time out of your schedule to say, hey, let me jump on this podcast just to inspire somebody. Look, I don't even know. It's only God that would bless you, bless your handwork, and give you everything that you so desire in life. Amen. Thank you once again. Yes, yes, yes.
Amen.
So now your story is very unique from a judge, from the courtroom to becoming an author and starting your own publishing company. Can you please share with us how you were, what led to that transformation or transition from the courtroom to becoming an author?
You know what? I'm so glad you just mentioned, the presence of God. And if I can just be fully transparent, it was really understanding early on, and that's a blessing, understanding early on that I am here on this planet, not just sucking up air, not just going to court, not just having a client, but to do the work that he sent me to do. So I've always loved being in law. As you mentioned, I still am a criminal defense attorney. I still have a few cases still remaining. And that has allowed me to be in a space where I get to really, truly know. I get to really know and understand what leads a lot of individuals into the courtroom, what leads them into the criminal justice arena, and to find ways to resolve that issue for them. So that is an honor. And then I was appointed to become a judge just a couple of years ago. So I'm enjoying that role as well. But even becoming an author, all of that was God's work because, as I mentioned, I love knowing my clients. I love knowing their stories. I have a multitude of clients that actually had mental health issues, and just getting to understand where they are and how they got there was just fascinating to me. And so it's been a very smooth journey to go from lawyer to judge to author, because now that I'm an author, a published author, I'm able to share some of, just glimpses of the inspirational things that I've learned from my clients. A lot of times my clients will say, oh, well, you taught me this and I learned so much. And I'm going, no, you have no idea. I think every encounter we have with individuals, and for me, with my clients, and even as I sit as a judge, we encounter each other to learn from each other. And every nugget of information that I've learned from being a judge, from being a lawyer, I'm able to use my creativity to now become an author. So it's been a very smooth and nice transition, and I've really enjoyed the journey that I'm on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And there's so many people who are currently attorneys or in the law profession who are thinking, oh, this is not all I could be. This is not all I can do here on earth. And they don't know how to make that transition or to discover that higher calling, or rather a second calling that they feel, because being an attorney is a high calling. Yeah. So, but they still feel that there's something missing. And I
Correct.
believe that they can learn from you. I believe they can learn from you.
And
And
and that was really where I was. I remember being a younger lawyer, and you get caught up in that rat race of, meet client, go to court, argue before the judge, and you're doing this day in and day out. And then when that case is over, you go to the next case, and then you go to the next case. But even as a younger lawyer, I knew, okay, there's more to what God has me here for. And it was just being in a space mentally where I was willing to accept what God wanted me here for and listening. And like I mentioned before, we are here to learn from each other. Nothing happens by accident. Nothing happens by, oh wow, that's a coincidence. No, everything is purposeful and it's for us. It doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. So I use every situation, and that's what I love to share with others. Use every situation, good, bad, ugly, to make it your own and craft you can craft an entire world. For me, I sit up and I craft books just using my imagination. That's all it takes. Your imagination, your creativity, that's free. It was, I call it my downloads from God, but it's free. And so just for anyone out there who feels or felt like I felt as a younger lawyer, like I said, going from case to case, and then it's like, wait a minute, there's more to this. And just sitting still and listening and paying attention to what you are truly gifted with. And it could be law, or it could be, a computer tech, it could be teaching, it could be a nurse, whatever you're doing. Please be mindful of what you're really in on this earth for. And it's so great to be in tune with that, to listen and to know, okay, this is where God wants me to be.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And you mentioned something that resonates with me. You said nothing happens by accident. You said things don't happen to us, but things happen for us. And I want everybody who's listening right now, it doesn't matter what you think your current situation is, no matter how bad you think it is, things don't happen to us, but things happen for us. And why do things happen for us? So we can become wiser, better, and stronger. Is
Yes.
that correct, ma'am?
That is absolutely correct. Every situation, and believe me, I mean, of course, I don't know what everyone else's problems may be, and it may be far more insurmountable than mine or yours, or maybe mine were more surmountable than theirs. But that's not the point. The point is, we encounter these situations, and every day there's going to be a situation. You can walk outside your door and there's going to be something like, wait, I wasn't prepared for that. But, it happened for me. I have to, and I do it for myself. I have to talk to myself sometimes. I still get frustrated when things come my way that that were unexpected. But then I have to just kind of settle myself and say, wait a minute, there's a lesson in there. There's a lesson in there. So every situation presents us with a gift, no matter how challenging it may be at first glance. There's still a gift in there that we can learn something. And as you said, become wiser.
Yes, wiser, stronger, and better. Thank you so much for sharing that. And now let's go into a bit of your law practice. Why did you choose to work with um, children and young adults and those people who have been should I use the word, I don't know if it's right to say, condemned to death, or
Yes, yes,
sentenced to death?
yes. So what drove me to that was always, and I get asked that question quite a bit, but what drove me to it is my curiosity. And I remember being young. And when I say young, I'm talking about like maybe elementary school, maybe going into middle school, but always wondering why. If there was, if there happened to be a news story, or if I saw something, in the local paper when I was younger, this incident happened, or this person was injured, or this person was accused of doing X, Y, and Z. I was just fascinated, and I wanted to know why. Well, why did that person do that? And if the person had, let's say, been victimized, or been a victim of some terrible event, well, why did that event happen? If a person had mental illness, well, what started that? What is the kernel? When did they learn? I was always asking why. And even in school, I remember being in high school and college, teacher would say something, here I am, but why? It was all, that was my, even now, my question is, well, why?
Yeah.
So I am
Why?
always, and always have been, a questioner. So as I started to study and learn more about, criminal justice, things, just in the community, social justice, and then I started to learn that, well, when a person is charged with a crime and they get convicted of that crime, they get a certain sentence. Well, why is that sentence appropriate? And who determines why that sentence is appropriate versus something else? And why did that person get that sentence and someone else who doesn't look like that person get a different sentence? And then I really began to explore, even when it came to capital punishment, well, why is it the government thinks they have a right to do that? And I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I just wanted to know why. And I was so just consumed with wanting to learn more and more and more. And then I learned, okay, well, the United States uses capital punishment, but other countries don't. Well, why is that? So there was always a moment in everything for me to just wonder and ask those questions. And so that led me into practicing law because I wanted to know who that person was who was incarcerated and charged with a crime. I wanted to know why. Why? And then I wanted to be in the courtroom. Well, why did the judge give that sentence? And why, more importantly to me, is why is it that those who are Black, brown, poor, maybe female, maybe different, maybe whatever, why did they get a sentence that is different from somebody else's? So all of those things led me to where I am.
Yes, and those are valid reasons. I really do appreciate you more now for that. Those are valid reasons. And the question why is very powerful. And as leaders, we understand how powerful it is to determine the root cause of anything when we
Yes.
ask why. In fact, if we need to wear our leadership hat now, there is the 5 why method of discovering the root cause of anything, and it is still very effective. The 5 why. They say by the time you ask why 5 times, you won't even get to the fifth why. You would determine the root cause of the problem. Yes, yes, yes. I think it was invented. It was invented by the founder of Toyota back in the 1930s. Yes, the 5 why method.
Wow. And see, I didn't even know that.
Yes, 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 yes. It is still one of the most effective strategies for determining the root cause of anything. Just keep asking why.
Just keep asking.
Why is it like this?
I love
Why
that.
is it like this? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for all you do. You have so much greatness in you, and
Oh,
and
thank
you
you.
did not allow the greatness to just stay dormant. You took action, and you went into a field where you could really utilize that God-given gift to make a massive impact. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank
So now
you.
let's go into your books. That's one of the major reasons why we're on this podcast today. We want to study the journey of authors, and we've come to realize thus far that not everybody anticipated or ever imagined that they would become authors. Was your case like that too, or is yours like that too?
You know what? It actually, yes and no. I knew that I was here to do more than just to be in a courtroom. That I knew. And so, but I wasn't quite sure what it would look like. So that's why I say yes and no. No is really should be the answer because I had no idea I was going to start with a children's book. And that was truly a divine message that I got. And and it's kind of funny because remember we just talked about why. And I remember being really frustrated one day recently, like maybe when I say recently, like maybe a year or two ago. And I was just so frustrated with something that had happened in the courtroom. And I remember laying awake at late that night, like 2, 3 in the morning, and wrestling with that question. Well, why did that happen? Again, remember I said I always ask why. And the
Yes.
answer I got, because when I meditate and when I pray, what a lot of people forget to do, and I had to learn this myself, is we ask for things, but we don't wait for the answer. So I waited for the answer. And And another question I had before I got the answer was, how can I be a vessel? How can I make my voice heard? And I waited for the answer, and the answer came as do a children's book. And I remember thinking at the time, and maybe your listeners are more mature than me, but at the time I started arguing with God.
No, we've all been through that path. You know, it's part of life. It's part of growing up, right?
It is. And I remember thinking, well, why would I do that? Because my children are adults now. You know, my daughter's 26, my son is 24. So I don't have any young children. So why would I write a children's book? But the message was very clear. And the message was, if we're talking about, at least for me, my goal in changing the trajectory of young people's lives from criminal justice or from doing acts of crime or criminality to being creative vessels, to being fruitful and productive individuals, then we have to start with children. We have to start with children. So that was what I received, and so I immediately launched my children's book series, and the first book is Kinky Curly Mind.
Wow, that's awesome. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's the title of the book. It is just the title of the book, Kinky Curly Mind. And where can they find this book to
The
buy?
book is available on my website. You can go to zellapublishing.com, which is my gear that I'm wearing, Zella Publishing. I also have a website called Let's Save Our Youth.com, because that is where my heart is. Let's Save Our Youth.com. And if you go to that website, there is a free gift for you. And it's an opportunity for individuals who may know someone who is a young adult who has been in the criminal justice system, and they may want to know, well, what do I do? How do I get back on my feet? Because the criminal justice system, and we can talk for hours about that, and I won't go too much into it, but it can have a devastating blow for everyone, for the victims and for those who are convicted of the crimes. The victims, because they can be robbed of everything, you name it. And then those that are accused and convicted of a crime, we have to understand at some point after incarceration, they come home and they have to learn how to get back on their feet. Because otherwise, if we don't provide the tools for them, or if they don't get the tools on their own, then they can only return back to what they've been through. So I want to change that. I want to change that whole energy field where, someone gets locked up and they get out and they don't know what else to do but to go back into a life of crime. No, there are ways, and easy ways. I'm not talking about something where you have to invest money, you have to know somebody to get ahead. No, if you go to my website, letssaveouryouth.com, there's a free ebook. It's short and simple, and it's just 5 easy steps for those who are just getting out of the criminal justice system to get back on their feet. So, and if you go to that website, not only can you get that free ebook, 5 Ways to Rebound for the Young Adult Coming Out of the Criminal Justice System, you can also click on the tab to buy Kinky Curly Mind, which is my children's book.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. And you're doing a lot for the community. So, like, what I can only do right now is to pray that the Almighty God should continuously grant you more grace, more wisdom, knowledge, understanding, good health, long life,
Oh,
and the
thank
ability to continue doing what you're doing. I have a passion for the youth too. And because I made mistakes while growing up,
you.
and if God could help me transition from who I was to who I am now, it means it's possible for every other person.
Mm.
And yeah, so I'm passionate about working with the young people, helping them develop a growth mindset. helping them discover their purpose in life, helping them understand where they are from, which is from above, why
Yes.
they're on earth, what they can do, and where they're going. So when I see people who do the same thing, it really makes me feel proud and happy that we're doing something special. So keep doing what you do, man. Confucius once said,
Mhm.
he said, if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. He
Mhm.
went further to say, if your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. But if your plan is for 100 years, then you must educate the children.
Oh, wow. That's powerful.
Yes. So I believe so much in working with the young people. We have a golf program that we're working with now where we want to teach people. I'm also just new to
Mhm.
golfing. We want to teach people. We don't have too many people of my skin color doing that
Mhm.
because they feel it's too expensive. They feel it's too, so we're setting up a program where we teach people how to play golf. And while we're teaching them, we're studying the Bible, we're doing Bible studies and playing golf and motivating and inspiring them to help them believe in themselves and to help them understand that they can become the best versions of themselves.
Mm.
So yes, we will be happy to collaborate with you, and thank God you're based in Georgia. So
Yes,
um
absolutely. I would love that. And because it's the children, that's where it starts. And we have to pour into them. I mean, and I'll be honest, someone poured into me. Whether I had my parents loved me, but there are so many people that didn't have that. And so that's what I want to share. Someone poured into me. I had teachers that cared about me, but there are others where they're either in a bad or poor educational system where the teachers may or may not care. Or I hear it all the time from the juveniles that I used to represent. So, but if we pour into the children, and that's why I created that website, Let's Save Our Youth. Let's mean all of us. And it starts with our youth. Oh, I can't hear you right now. Let's see.
oh, okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now I
Yes,
can.
yes, yeah. It
Mhm.
starts with them. So if we want to have a brighter future, we need to educate the youths, the children, train them, teach them. So thank you so much for sharing. So
Yeah.
now um you have a book publishing company. I call it a book writing ministry. It is a ministry because
It is.
you're not only doing it for yourself,
It is a
you're
ministry.
helping. Yes, you're helping people put out their stories, and these stories will live longer than the authors. So, in my own opinion, books are great legacies because the books will outlive us. The books will live longer than us. Even when our time on earth expires, those
That's
materials will still be available to impact lives and lives and lives. So, what can you share with us some of the biggest challenges you faced in your writing journey and how you overcame them?
so yes. But you know what? Even with the challenges, and I did encounter challenges, and I'll tell you what they are. But even with every challenge I had, it was a learning experience for me. And one main challenge I had in doing the children's book is collaborating with others and having my expectations and expecting my expectations to fit that other person's expectations. So when you're doing a children's book, you must include or should include artwork, illustrators. So I had to engage with different graphic artists. And I'm not a graphic artist. I'm creative in terms of writing and coming up with the story, but the graphic artist is the person that puts the colors together, that puts the shapes together. And so one of the challenges was, well, why can't that person be done in the next week? Because that was my expectation. But artists are very different people. And they have to sit with my story in order to come up with the illustrations that are appropriate for the page or for that storyline. So that was a challenge for me. But the reason why I prefaced it with, but it's not really a challenge. Why? Because I learned. Because remember, this children's book is my first children's book series. And right now I have 3 in the series, but I had to learn that, okay, my expectations don't have to fit everyone else's. So even though it was a challenge, it really wasn't, because now I'm wiser. And as you said yourself, we're wiser, stronger, all of those things were really for my benefit. So everything that I thought was a challenge, it's not. And I remember thinking at one point, well, wait a minute, how am I going to come up with this money to pay for a graphic artist? And I wanted to create a logo. And now I don't have to, but you think about all the finances and it's like, well, wait a minute. God is a provider, and having to remind myself. So even that wasn't a challenge. It was repositioning my mindset to what was really in front of me. And everything that I needed has been provided for. So what I thought were challenges, dealing with other people, a graphic artist that, doesn't respond in my self-imposed time frame, was a learning experience. Definitely a learning experience. So it wasn't a challenge at all. I learned so much.
Yes, yes. And I always remind people that challenges are meant to activate the creativity inside of us.
Mhm.
Yes, we're meant to learn from them, gain wisdom from them. So yes, I that resonates with me completely. Thank you for sharing that. And do you only work with people who want to write children's books, or do you work with just anybody who's ready to put in the work?
I work with anyone who's ready to put in the work. And the reason I say that is because it's not up to me to direct you on what your book's purpose is. If you have a mission in writing your book, then I am here to help you, assist you, and guide you to get what you dream of, what's in your head, to an actual book. So I am so happy to assist someone along the way. I've had my bumps and bruises and I learned from them. So I am more than happy. And not only that, I believe in collaboration. So I work with other individuals. I mentioned a graphic artist. I also work with another person that is doing the coloring book for which is a part of my children's book series. And I've also created a journal. So I have different collaborators. So whatever, if there's a person out there who doesn't quite know what they want to write, we can sit down and talk and to help you put what you think, what your creativity wills are producing into a nice, fine product. And as I said, because I work with collaborators, we can have you ready in no time at all. But the key is having your purpose, understanding what you want to do. And I always tell people, I even tell my children this: be still and quiet, listen to that voice, and then you can and then do what you're hearing that you are directed to do.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Are any of your kids following your law or legal background footstep?
Say it again.
Do you have any of your children who are studying law or who are attorneys or
You know what? They do not. My daughter is a veterinarian and she's great in science and math, so she did not get that from me. And my son is an architect, he designs homes. So neither of them followed in law. But the one thing that they did take from me, which I am proud of, and that is their awareness of social justice and social justice issues. So we'll often talk about things that we see on the news and how they themselves can be impactful. And my daughter and her friends, they volunteer. My son volunteers, and I know that's because I have just really like steeped them in being aware of the people in your community, giving back, and just sharing the love that you have with others so that we all can go to the top. It's not a competition. I don't compete with you, you don't compete with me. We are all here to lift each other up and help someone. So
Yes.
they got that part, but no, they do not want to ever practice law.
Yes, and another part that they got from you that you might not even take into consideration is that they understand the importance of formal education at some point.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that one is key. That's a backup plan.
You know what? And in fact, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. I didn't think to touch on that because education is key. And a lot of times people can get turned off because they may think, oh, well, I don't have tuition money. I can't get funding for a 4-year degree or, a PhD or a medical degree. But even in the ebook that I have, one of the things I talk about in those 5 steps is education, but not necessarily a 4-year degree. It can be no degree, but learn as much as you can. That's the gift that I always want to share with people, because I can't expect every single person to go get a law degree. That might not be your passion. I can't expect everyone to get a medical degree. That may not be your passion. But what should be your passion is learning everything you can about whatever your chosen field is. What for me, it was law. For someone else, it might be cosmetology. For another person, it might be nursing. Another person, it might be taxes. Whatever your gift is, learn as much as you can about that. So I am big on education, but not necessarily education to the point where we're excluding people, because some people may not find that going to college is their journey. That was my journey. It was my children's journey. It's a journey that I fully support and I'm proud of, but I also recognize that might not be your journey. But I still embrace you and I still want to help you, because why? You still need to learn as much as you can about whatever you choose to do, because that's what sets you apart. That sets you apart. That gets you your customer base. That makes you the expert in your field, whether you have a 4-year degree or a PhD or a law degree, by learning as much as you can. So I implore people, whatever you're studying, whatever's on your heart to learn about, learn as much as you can.
Learn as much as you possibly can. Um, there is a quote from Emily Dickinson that says, "The brain is wider than the sky," and
Mm,
that's the truth.
it
So
is.
we cannot have such a powerful machine called the brain and be selective and not want to develop it. We need to develop it. We need to take advantage. When I came to the United States, I saw that I'm originally from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we pay out of pocket for college, and
Mm,
you can imagine how expensive that could be. And when I got here, I realized that they had student loans. I was like, eh? And people are still not taking advantage of it. I was like, oh, okay. There must be another problem underneath
yeah.
why people are not taking advantage of it. And by the grace of God, God used me as a vessel, gave me a platform where we can now provide education to people for just $48 credit hours, $48 per credit hours. Not everybody can afford to go to conventional universities, but
Correct.
we have a platform now where if I run into somebody who says, "Hey, I cannot afford education because it's too expensive," I'll tell you, we'll give you a scholarship. You get it for free for as long as you're ready to put in the work. And I
That
still
is
see,
such a
yeah,
blessing.
and I still see people saying, "Hey, I don't want it." Like,
Uh,
so that tells me that I have so much work to do here
yeah.
than I was anticipating. But I thank God. God has blessed me with a platform, and I will do exactly what God has asked me to do with it, to
Mm.
empower people. I will not relent. So thank you so much for sharing that, for
Yes.
touching on the importance of formal education. I like
Yes.
that. So I
Yes.
wouldn't want to keep you longer here because I know you have other things to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I let her go, I want her to give us 1 minute of encouragement from your experience. There are people out there who feel life is not fair to them. We all know life is not fair,
Mhm.
right? They feel life is not fair to them. They feel that they have been so broken that they cannot become great. They
Mm.
feel so broken, probably through by the system, by family members, by they feel they cannot become great anymore. I want you to just for 1 minute encourage that man or that woman or that boy or that girl who's listening to us right now, who can hear us.
You know what? That I welcome that opportunity, and here's why. I have come into contact through the course of being an attorney and a judge with so many people that are broken. So I don't take that lightly. I do not minimize pain or reduce someone's problems to, oh, well, get over it, or oh, go and pray about it. Oh, you'll feel better tomorrow. There are really there's real there's people out here that have real issues. And the message that I want to remind individuals of, and I wished I had coined this phrase, but I embrace it. And it says very simply, I am a masterpiece. You are a masterpiece. Whatever, however you feel right now in this moment, you are a masterpiece. And you might say, well, how can you say that? You have no idea what I've gone through in the past hour, let alone throughout my life. You are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. You are a piece
Yes.
of the master.
Yes.
And so, even on your darkest days, even on your happiest days, embrace that for yourself. I'm a masterpiece, not because of the degree I have, not because of the car I drive, not because of who I'm married, not because of the job I have or don't have or what I don't have. I am a masterpiece simply because I'm a piece of the Most High.
I love that. So I don't know who's listening to us right now. Judge Teri Thompson wants you to know that you are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. You are a piece of the God that made the heavens and the earth because you were made in the image and likeness of God. It means you have everything. It means you were not sent into this world by accident. It means everything you need in life is for a reason.
Mm.
So go look at the stories of Joseph, the Bible,
Mm.
right? Look at the story of the great people in the Bible that were used to do the great work. Apostle Paul. Look at everybody. Everybody, they all have their stories, right? So if they could overcome what they went through, it means it is possible for you. Don't give up. Don't give up. God will sometimes put us in situations where we can listen, because we live in a world that is so noisy right now.
Mm,
People are listening to music, watching news. When you finish watching TV, you go into the car, you listen to radio, you go to wherever you're going. So much noise, no time to meditate, no time to reflect, no time to think. So sometimes God will have to put people who do not have that time. He will need to do something extraordinary, put you in a situation where you would have the time to listen. It could be in jail, it could be in the hospital, it could be anywhere, but a
mm,
place where you can sit down and reflect on who you are. So do not feel discouraged. Thank you so much for sharing that, ma'am. I really do appreciate you. That just ignited a lot in me, because I know there's so many people who would say, hey, I'm going to give up. But please know that you have something in you. You are a masterpiece, like what she said. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing that. It's been a pleasure having you. I hope when next I invite you to this program, you would be willing to come share some words of wisdom.
absolutely, absolutely. I have enjoyed talking to you, meeting you. I'm so glad our missions are so similar. It's
Yes,
that's
yes,
just
yes,
wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm
yes.
excited. I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I'm
Thank
excited
you.
for your listeners.
Thank you
This
so
is
much.
and thank you for what you do. Your school. Wow, that's so powerful. And then the way you just spend your time pouring into others. So I applaud you.
That's the only way we can change the world, make the world a better place. Because, like you said, there's so many people who don't even have mentors, they can't afford one.
Mhm.
So, when God gives us a platform, we should be able to use it to pour into others. And that's what we will do for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they say whatever has a beginning surely has an end. We're excited to share some amazing ways for you to stay connected with our mission. You can support our mission and help us continue uplifting lives by making a donation. Your generosity allows us to keep spreading hope and positivity. You can visit our website, www.johnugulu.com. It's JOHNUGHULU.com to support with a donation. Nothing is too small. And you can also stay connected with us. If you're looking for inspiration, yes, you can stay connected. You can check out our collection of inspirational books on that same website, johnugulu.com. You can also tune into our latest episodes where we share powerful messages of hope, resilience, and personal growth. This podcast can change your life. So you can listen to it, click on the link in our website and start listening to the podcast. Lastly, you can become a part of our growing community by subscribing to the Morale Booster community, where we charge you a subscription fee of $10 monthly. And in this community, we uplift and inspire one another every day. We share motivational messages. We grant you access to coaching and mentoring services. And we also grant you access to our events, private events, where you can have the opportunity to improve on your personal development journey. So, thank you all for being a part of this journey with us. Together, we can continue to make a lasting impact and spread positivity in all we do. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Stay blessed, everybody. Thank you, ma'am, and we'll talk soon. Bye,
Absolutely.
everybody.